Good morning, this is Sarah, and welcome to the first installment of The Function of Art, or the Fart Vlog. Today I'm going to lay some foundation down for the rest of the entries that I do from here on out. I'm going to go over 3 words that I think are very important as they relate to one another, specifically design, aesthetics, and art, since this is about art. I'm going to talk about design first. This is a very important word, and I actually printed out a definition from the actual internet. The first entry is a plan or drawing produced to show the look and function or workings of a building, garment, or other object before it is built or made. The second entry is a purpose, planning, or intention that exists or is thought to exist behind an action, fact, or material object. And the synonyms for that entry are intention, aim, purpose, plan, intent. And I like this definition a lot more, primarily because of the word intent. If I were to relate it to art, which I'm going to, how I've come to understand the function of design is that if you think of art as a visual language, design is visual grammar. As you know, you don't have to know anything about grammar to communicate to somebody using mouth words. You can kind of just make incomplete sentences and make sounds at people and communicate something. And sometimes, depending on what you're trying to communicate, that's more effective or dramatic if that's what you're going for. But grammar definitely makes communication easier. So just like a spoken language, you have to learn the grammar and how it works to serve the language to give it structure. That sometimes as a byproduct makes it more aesthetically pleasing, but not always. So since I threw the word out there, aesthetics, I'm gonna move to my next definition. And I have that printed as well. It's very short. I was surprised. The textbook definition of aesthetic is concerned with beauty or the appreciation of beauty. And I find this kind of problematic. Beauty is a very relative word. Like, what's beautiful to me isn't necessarily beautiful to somebody else. We all, as humans, seem to have accepted that there's a general, concept of beauty, but the standards of beauty have been shifting dramatically, even within the past 100 years. So I'm gonna append the definition of aesthetics and say that it has less to do with the concept of beauty and more to do with an attention to outward appearance. You and I might look at an object and not agree that it's beautiful or ugly. We can both probably agree that the person who made it knowing that people were going to be judging it based on its physical appearance. And this leads me to kind of venture down to the primary word, the uber-loaded word that is art. I'm not going to define it. When I was in art school, we were prompted to write a paragraph every year where we defined art for ourselves. It's evolved so much that I don't even think I could define it anymore. And that's what's awesome about it. From here on out, if I use the word design, I mean visual grammar or visual literacy based on planning and intent. If I use the word aesthetics, I don't necessarily mean beauty, I mean the intent for something to look visually digestible. And when I use the word art, I basically mean an object that represents an idea larger than itself. The reason why I'm bringing up these 3 words specifically is because any object that is made can fit into all 3 of these bubbles, or just 2, or 1, or none of them. What I mean by this is that something that was designed doesn't necessarily automatically become aesthetically pleasing, and something that's aesthetically pleasing wasn't necessarily designed. And as far as art goes, things that are considered art aren't necessarily designed or aesthetically pleasing. And that's where I'm gonna leave this off for this installment of The Function of Art. So think about your circles, define these things for yourself. Because yeah, again, all of this is very plastic. Keep making awesome stuff out there, and thank you for watching. And my coffee's cold already.